What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Woo! Welcome back to another live stream from Pink Tourmaline. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. My first live stream. Check out the sweater I'm wearing, by the way. Let's go. Oh my God. First live stream. It's only actually been a week, but it feels like it's been a month since I've done a live stream. Obviously, I've been on the road for 18 days, so about 2.5 weeks. So much has happened, and I've kind of, is that Matt Bingen? What's up, Matt? What's up? What's up? Thank you for joining. So much happened even on the first half of the trip when I went to Croatia. I had a lot of realizations and revelations just from that. But I got so much to tell you about Monroe. And I literally am just sitting down and jumping into it. I've got my notebook here. We were off our devices for the most part, so we were handwriting notes throughout the entire program, but just so much information to decompress in this live stream. I might be on for approximately 3 hours. I don't even know, or 2 hours, or I might conk out after 1 hour because I landed today and there's just so much to unpack. But I'm going to do my best, and we're just going to go with the flow and see how it goes. Excited to hear how it was. Well, I'm excited to tell, because this is going to be really good for me too, to try and talk about everything that happened, because so much happened. And sorry, 1 second. I'm just trying to adjust my chair. And so much happened that I didn't expect. And so much happened that we're going to have to get into it. All right. So let me just run through some comments, and then I'm going to start. I'm going to try and organize my thoughts in some sort of fashion. So Paul Walsh says, yo, Blackheart says, hello. Did you achieve getting out of body? We're going to get to that. We'll get there. I don't want to spoil anything too much yet. Andrea B144 says, hello. What's up, Matt? Bing says, let's do it. I'm in bed, but I want to hear. Okay. Here we go. So let's first talk about my expectations going into the program. Actually, and let me put some banners up here so we can kind of keep some semblance of organization in terms of what's going on. Expectations of Monroe. Okay. So let's start with the expectations. So my expectations going in on Sunday. So let me take you back to about 8 days ago, Sunday, I had arrived on Saturday, July 4th, but I arrived and then passed out in Charlottesville in my hotel. And then, what did I do? Is there a timer here? Sorry. And then I arrived and I was so tired. But then Sunday, we did a bunch of stuff, getting ready. I made some videos, stuff like that. Actually made some videos on Monday morning, got up super early, made videos on Monday morning. But Sunday night, I went out to dinner with five other people from the program. And we went to dinner, we were hanging out and just kind of getting to know each other. And after dinner, one of the participants who I became really close with, her name is Angie, she asked me a question of, hey, what are all your guys' expectations for the program? And different people had different answers. And mine, I thought, was a very, very simple request. And I was like, hey, man, I just want to have one OBE. That's it. One out-of-body experience. And I'll be screaming from the rooftop. I'll be so excited. And you'll hear me throughout the entire house or wherever we're staying. Still didn't know exactly what it was going to look like, what it was going to entail. And so I said, that's it. That's all I want. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, just an OBE. Okay. So that was my expectations. Paul Walls, you said my subs are climbing. Thank you, man. Yeah, I've been working my tail off. So those are my expectations. And I really wanted it. Now, obviously, okay, so Paul, you're talking about the channel growing, and you guys can see how many videos I'm making. And I tried to even make videos, obviously, regularly when I was in Croatia. I set some videos up even before I went on the retreat. Obviously, I couldn't make videos at the retreat just because we were trying to stay off technology. But so my point in bringing that up is, if I have a goal or something in mind that I think is a reasonable goal, at least, I put everything into it. I go really hard at trying to achieve that goal. And that's what my mindset was going into Monroe. And I said, I want to achieve this OBE. So I'm going to do everything by the book. Obviously, they want us to steer clear of caffeine. They want us to steer, just all these different protocols, making sure that we're trying to be off our devices as much as possible, trying to get the most out of the lectures in between. And I'll talk about the structure and the organization of the course in a moment. But anyways, I tried so hard to extract every nugget of information, to get every rep in as if it was like a workout program, and just to do the work as much as I could. When we had a day, they wanted a whole morning of silence. I extended it, and they said we could. And I said, obviously I want to sit and talk to people at lunch, but I chose to extend it through lunch and beyond lunch to take a walk, just because I'm like, all right, well, it's only going to help me the more longer I extend the silence. So it was like a 6-hour period or something of silence. So like I tried to go above and beyond for myself in terms of just really putting in the reps and trying to get as best sleep as I could every night, things like that. So coming back to the OBE, did I have one? I did not have one. And I tried really hard. And there were multiple moments where I thought I was getting close, and I was getting the vibrations. My whole body was almost going numb, which was really cool. It's the deepest, best meditations I've ever had in my life by a landslide. And I've never meditated that much. So it was a massive, massive victory for me from that standpoint, which I came to realize at the end what a success it was. But the primary objective was having an OBE, and I was not able to achieve one. And other people were. Actually, a lot of people at the program were able to achieve an out-of-body experience. And so that made me feel worse because other people were experiencing it, and I wanted it so badly. And I thought it was so important for my journey and for my life goals and for what I'm trying to explain to you guys on this channel. I'm trying to decode this mystery, and what better way to have an out-of-body experience or multiple of those and explore on my own and really understand what we're all surrounded in. So you guys know how important it was to me to go there and to have this experience, and I did not have it. But that's probably what needed to happen for me to actually extract from this program what I needed. So now let me tell you about, let me tell you about the structure of the program, and then I want to tell you about the massive takeaways that I experienced. So we'll say structure of Gateway Voyage. This will be the next one. Let me just read a couple comments before I get into the structure. Hey, what's up, BT Universe? So excited for you, dude. You get to level 15. So yes, we did 15. We did 21. I'm going to talk about that. And yeah, one OBE, that's all. And that was a way taller task than I thought, but I went for it. You're so thorough and detail-oriented regarding reincarnation, soul trap topic. Hey, I'm trying to explore. Really, I'm trying to explore anything that is potentially leading us down to the light, leading us to enlightenment. I'm going down, and right now, this is the avenue and the path that I'm exploring. This is the topic that I'm exploring because I think there's legitimacy to it. So yes, I'm trying to be very thorough. And obviously always trying to be open-minded, because maybe I'll uncover something that will change my mind down the line and we'll go in another direction. But for now, that's where I'm at. What's up, Eddie? The anticipation stops it for me. I get close often. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me tell you about. Okay. Well, we're going to go through the next part. Maybe this will be enlightening for you. I hope I got a refund. No. Do not want a refund. It was so valuable, and we're going to get to why. Okay. So let's talk about the structure of the course. And I didn't really know too much about what it was. There was a couple people that had been on previous gateways before, but for the most of us, it was our first time. So basically what it is you come in every morning. I'd actually do yoga every morning at 7 a.m. Then they'd have breakfast, but I'd skip breakfast. Then we'd go down and we'd have to be ready by 9 a.m. in sort of like a main meeting room where there was a class. And the cool thing about all this is you guys are going to see this because it was all filmed. And whether they turn it into a documentary or whether it's going to be called Instructions for Leaving, and you can check out the website, but whether they turn it into a documentary or they turn it into a whatever it is, there's going to be a way for you to see exactly what I went through. So that's the really cool part. But anyways, so we'd meet at 9 and we have a lecture and we'd be talking about whatever we're exploring that day. I think on day 1, I can go back to my notes here. Actually, I'll tell you exactly. They were telling us, actually, maybe this is the first day, like not morning, but they were telling us about the check unit. So what is the check unit? The check unit is where we would sleep. And it's kind of like a box, and it's all, you have a curtain and there's speakers in there. So it's playing, and there's also headphones. So when you do the meditations, there's headphones. When you sleep, there's speakers. But they're both playing the same sound or frequencies, and they play sleepy music, essentially, or frequencies for us at night, which I had really good sleep. It was really cool. And I was only taking magnesium. That's it. No other supplements. And obviously we're not on our devices. That obviously helped. So I need to implement that in my life here. So then we learned about the check units. They showed us how, explained it. I explained how we can use the check units and whatnot. Okay, then the next day was our first morning. We had that original lecture. Like what we talked about is focus 10, the first level of of the frequencies that we were getting to, that first depth of meditation. And they kind of gave us the flow of what we're going to hear typically in these audio tracks. So we learned about it, and then like, okay, off you go. And they'd always say the same line: by way of the bathroom, head upstairs to do your meditation. But they'd always say by way of the bathroom, because you're in such a relaxed state throughout the whole week. You're going to the bathroom all the time. It was crazy. After every meditation, after every class, you have to go to the bathroom. It was really wild. So anyways, then we go upstairs, and then we do the meditation. We put on the headphones, and it would be a guided meditation, usually with Bob Monroe's voice on there. Sometimes our instructor Luigi, his voice was on there. I think even in one, the CEO of the Monroe Institute, who was also, we're so lucky we had Alan, because she only told me she only teaches like 5 courses a year. So we had Alan and Luigi, who are, I assume I don't know for a fact, but I assume they're the top of the line in terms of instruction, because they were so good. And I'm sure Alan's very busy as a CEO. So we were really, really lucky to get them as our instructors. And well, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, yeah. So they'd say by way of the bathroom, we'd go to the bathroom, go upstairs, and then we'd do oh yeah, I was saying who was narrating the audio stuff. So yeah, then they'd narrate it, and we just try and follow along. Then we do it. We come down, we debrief. Everybody would raise their hand and share their experiences and things like that. And they'd give us feedback, and then they'd talk about the next thing we're going to do. Then we go upstairs, do it again. Then we usually come down after that. Then we'd have lunch. Sometimes we do 3 meditation sessions before lunch. And these are all 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes, I think, because we didn't have our watches, we were trying not to keep track of time. So then we'd have and the food was awesome. So they had amazing kitchen staff and healthy too, healthy options with everything. Then we'd have a break after. So from lunch, we'd go from 1, we'd eat, and then we'd have a break till 4. And I tried every day to do some sort of outdoor activity, just basically taking a walk. It was really beautiful. We were in the middle of the country. It was so nice. There were cows, there were deer, and there was a lake. I didn't go in the lake because there are apparently snakes in the lake, so I never did that, but I went to the lake. There's just a lot of really cool grounding things to do there. Then we'd come back at 4. Then we'd have another lecture, another meditation, come down again, another lecture, another meditation. Then 7 o'clock, we'd have dinner. Then we'd come back and we'd have a quick lecture, and then one more meditation, and then usually come back one more time. And then we'd usually wrap the day around like 9:30 or 10. So it's a full day. And you might think, okay, well, the meditation, that must be very relaxing. You're lying down or you're in your check unit. It's so mentally exhausting, especially for somebody like me, where I was, well, all of us, but especially for me, I say, because I wanted this one objective so bad and I was having difficulty achieving it. So I did that. Then we'd all hang out usually afterwards. I didn't hang out that late as much as we're going to talk about all the people afterwards, because that ended up being the most important part of the whole experience. And we're going to get to that. But a lot of people, some people would stay up till 1 till 2 in the morning, just hanging out and talking downstairs. I would usually try and be in bed by somewhere between 10:30 and 11:30. And then I'd pass out. By the way, we all had roommates, and my roommate, Jesus, I found out we're also the same age. I think they matched it up that way on purpose, and just such a cool guy. So I'm not going to talk about him too much yet. Let me get to the people part later, and I'll talk about everybody and the entire group dynamic that was created very intentionally, and how that was the biggest part, the most impactful part of the entire experience. Okay, but that's the basic structure. Then each day it would more or less repeat like that. We also had, I'm going to get the picture to show you guys. We had a surprise visit from Joe McMoneagle. And on the day that we were talking about remote viewing. So he came in and he spoke to us for like an hour and a half, and then he answered questions. We all had questions for him, and that was crazy because he's remote viewer 001, the OG of remote viewing. So that was such a treat, and they kept it a secret. So it was a surprise. Again, all of this is captured on video, so you guys can see the video of all the stuff when it comes out. And yeah, we did this, and then the course went through Saturday. And then Saturday, we had a very kind of like nice, relaxing, chill day. We kind of did a manifestation meditation on the last day, and then we ended, and then we did this amazing circle of love kind of thing. They had a name for it, circle of sharing. Maybe we all got to share whatever our final thoughts on the program, and it was very emotional. We were all, a lot of people. I was crying. Everybody was crying. Or a lot of people were crying. And then we kind of ended the program. It was wild too because we ended it on Saturday night. I didn't know it was ending Saturday. I thought it was ending Sunday because we left today. And so I had already said the UFC fight is on. The big UFC fight, this massive international fight week is on. But I'm like, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm not going to look at my phone about it because we're going to be immersed in the experience. Well, I didn't know the program was wrapping that night before the fight started. And there were multiple people there that were big fight fans. It was so cool. So we actually, after that happened, we hooked it up on the TV and we all just hung out. One of the instructors, Luigi, watched it with us. We watched the UFC event. It was so freaking sweet. Like there was this one girl named Krista who is a big fight fan. This other girl named I called her Shri, but her name is Shuri. And so I realized that later in the program. I was mad at myself about that. But anyways, she's a massive UFC fan. My roommate, Jesus, is a massive UFC fan. Anyways, it was just so much fun. And then Sunday, the last day, why they had us there an extra day was because they needed to, again, it was being filmed the whole time and they're turning it into like a documentary or series or whatever it turns into. But so they needed us there one more day to interview us, basically. So they had us around and they wanted to interview us on just kind of like an exit interview, more or less. And so we had to be there for all of those. So that was the basic structure. And I can go into more details as well about all the different topics that were covered. But that's the basic idea. Okay, let me read some comments and then we'll get into the next section. Here we go. Eddie says, you always know how to connect the dots. Good job. Thank you. Yeah, don't feel down about it. It will come a time. I don't feel down about it. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Now, the people at Monroe not try and help you till you got an OBE. Yeah, but they did try. They tried a lot and they tried to help us, but it's not a guarantee. It's like what I realized, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, is it's kind of like a martial art. You have to practice a ton, and to think that you would achieve an OBE in 1 week is a bit preposterous. I now realize in retrospect, but so yeah, no, and it's not like a guarantee by any means. In fact, there's so much more that you extract out of the program. The people that were achieving OBEs were people that have had a lengthy meditation practice, or people that, so a lot of these people had achieved OBEs before. Some had and didn't get one during the time, but it's just, so that's kind of the way I look at it. Is this was a massive jumping off point, a massive platform for me now to build an incredible meditation practice and to work on the skill for however long it takes, years if need be. I'm down. I'm game. Just like martial arts. I've been training Muay Thai for 7 years. So that's what it's all about. Morgan. Hey, Morgan, what's up? Glad you enjoyed your trip. You'll achieve OBE when you least expect it. Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's Morgan from Intuitive Underground, people. You're intensely in your body. It's the same thing that makes you great at sports. I'm plagued with the same issues. All it means is we are excellent this round. More practice for the next. Got it. That's good to know. That's so cool, actually, Van, to have had an OBE. I want this so bad. I think I've had few over the years, but long before I knew how to do this stuff. Yeah, I really want one. I still haven't had one, at least not that I'm aware of. And if you don't count the DMT trip. Did anyone see the recent interview Tony reviewed? No, I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, I saw it was posted, but I haven't watched it. How did it go? Okay, it was incredible. It was incredible, but for reasons other than my expectations. Being overly aware is a blessing and curse. True. Did they give you a recommendations about? Yes, but I want to get more specifics. But in general, yes, I know. Basically, I have to build a regular meditation practice morning and night, which I'm so down to do. Maria, what's up? What's up? What's up, fam? Hey, wait, Maria, are you new? I haven't seen you in a live stream before, I don't think. But are you new to the channel? How did you find the channel? What video brought you here? Let me know. But what's up? What's up? UFC is fixed, brother. Nah. Come on. No, it's not. It wasn't in the late 90s. Yeah, no. It's all about the bets. All betting. So, okay, well, we'll go back to that. We'll go back to this. Okay, now, so that was the structure. Now let me tell you about my takeaways. And the takeaways are also going to include some very emotional things that happened for me. And actually, what was so interesting about the program, and this is probably the biggest piece of the program. What's most important about it is the emotional releases that not just I had, that maybe all of us had. I don't remember, but pretty much everybody cried at some point, 24 people. So some people went there because they were longing to connect with maybe a deceased relative. Some people want to have an OBE. Some people want to have more control over the OBEs. Just different things. Or some people didn't even think they were there to connect with a deceased relative, but they did, and it was incredible or humbling or whatever it may be. So for me, what my main thing was, have an OBE so I can begin to develop the skill and I can access this information that I want to basically share with everybody here and share with this community and share with the world at large. And I wanted it so badly. And I was expecting it to happen because I'm like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I will work so hard at this in this week and whatnot. So again, I didn't think about it this way at the beginning, but going back to the martial arts analogy, it's like walking into a gym as a white, but with no experience or maybe a tiny bit of street fights or something, and expecting in a week to be able to beat up a black belt, to be able to beat up somebody with like 10 years of martial arts experience. That's what I was attempting to do, but I did not realize that. And so as the days progressed, I think it was around Thursday that this happened, I'm hearing incredible stories of what people are experiencing. But pretty much all people that have had these deep meditation practices for years, they're having incredible breakthroughs, whether it was through lucid dreams, whether it was through visualization and then seeing things. I mean, it was insane. There was, there was one time where somebody had an OBE and they went into somebody else's room and they helped the other person get out of their body. And so we came back and they figured it out. So the one guy who went into the other room and helped the guy pull the other guy out of his body, he didn't say anything because he wanted to see. He was like, wait, I think that happened, but I'm not sure. So then and the guy who he helped out of his body had been really having trouble having an OBE. So when they sat down at lunch, he's like, yeah, it was crazy. I popped out of my body and I feel like somebody was pulling me and whatever. And then the guy who sat down there, he was like, dude, that was me. I set that as my intention. Like, it was so trippy that happened. We had somebody had an experience of, they were trying to think of their daughter who was alive at home or whatever, and just trying to connect, and they didn't get any visuals. They were trying to see if they could connect or see them or visit them. And then they got a strong smell of a specific item, some specific type of bagel at that exact moment. And then they were like, I wonder if that meant anything during the first meeting. So they texted their daughter. And then in the second meeting, they came back and they're like, oh my God, her daughter was so freaked out. She was like, what the hell why did you ask me that? Because I had just taken one out of the refrigerator or something like that, or moved some into the refrigerator, something crazy. So just all these crazy experiences were happening, and I'm listening to them, and I think, I just want one OBE, and it's not happening. And I thought I was getting closer and closer, but my experiences were paling in comparison to what everybody else was experiencing, and it was wearing on me really badly. And I think part of that is also when you're doing all this meditation, some walls are coming down is the only way I can describe it. And you're super vulnerable and you're super emotional. And then it came to a head that one Thursday morning, I believe it was. And I was like in tears, but I was trying to hold it back because I also felt stupid voicing my frustration. Cause I'm like, people are seeing deceased relatives, they're having these super emotional experiences. And I'm just like about to break down crying because I can't have an OBE. You know what I mean? And so I felt stupid about it. And so we had the morning session and I'm listening to everybody. Then we go upstairs. And right when I get into my room, I kind of shut the door and I break down and start crying because I didn't want people to see me. Then my roommate came in, like I was cool with him seeing me. He's a very like sensitive, super nice guy. Jesus. And then he was like, dude, it's going to be okay. You're fine. Just do your best. And then I went into the meditation. The first half of the meditation, I cried the whole time, like 20 minutes or something. And then I was able to get into a meditative state. I meditated, got into, I think it was focus 15 or focus 21. I can't remember. And then I came out, and then we went down, and then we were getting ready to go downstairs. And I was still a wreck. Like, I was still super upset. So, okay, well, it is what it is. I am going to have to talk about it, because if I don't talk about it, I'm just going to be silently suffering. So I raised my hand and I said, like, and different people again sharing experiences. And then I'm like, I started by saying, I remember I was like, I'm having a really hard time. And then I just broke down, start crying in front of everybody, which is fine. Like I said, I cry. Like, it's not a big deal. It's an emotional release. It's a bodily function. I just felt stupid crying about that topic, if that makes sense. So I completely broke down, like really, like sobbing broke down. And I'm sure there's other stuff in there that was coming out, other releases, other childhood trauma and all this other stuff. I'm sure that's all a part of it. Different things that I've experienced growing up that were really hard for me that still maybe haven't been fully resolved, for sure. I'm sure that was all there. But anyways, I'm sitting there bawling my eyes out and explaining my frustration, feeling like a failure, even feeling like people didn't want to associate with me because I was failing so badly this endeavor. And multiple things happened. So a couple things. Number one, I had other people in the group that reached out in the meeting, and they're like, dude, you're not alone. We're feeling this too. And I didn't realize that because they're not talking. You know what I mean? The folks that were sharing the experience were having these incredible experiences. So I didn't know. I'm just silently thinking I'm totally isolated and alone. And they're like, no, we are going through the same thing. There's this woman named Thea, and she immediately was like, I am going to, and she actually spoke to me after the meeting. She stopped me because I ran to my room after the meeting. I was like, let me be the first one out. I just want to get into my room. I didn't want to like talk anymore, if that makes sense. But she came right to my room. She's like, hey, I want to talk to you. She goes, I've been feeling the exact same way. And we had this whole moment. We hugged, and it was really emotional. Anyways, so I had this whole breakdown, super frustrated. And then what I realized, and oh, by the way, not just people saying they felt the same way. Oh my God, I had so much support. This is why the group dynamic was so important. I had so much support. Everybody was chiming in and being like, dude, you're doing fine. Like, you're doing great. And this is maybe, don't focus so much on this. This is not what it's about. It's a big expectation. All these, like, just people being so supportive, and you're just wrapped in this supportive blanket of positive emotions. And it was just so incredible. And after that meeting, I felt so good. Look, I still had a tough time. It still took me another like day to balance out, because I was still trying to get over the fact that I don't think it's going to happen. Right. It's like a loss that you have to come to terms with. So I'm not saying everything was fully resolved right then and there, but a large part of it was resolved right then and there. But here's the really important part. I talked to one of the guys there. His name was Finney, and he's actually, I don't know if you'd call him a life coach exactly, but he's a mentor of sorts, and he has a coaching practice. And we talked about it the next day, and he said something like, because I'm mourning the fact that I didn't have a breakthrough, or I'm not going to get this magnificent breakthrough that I was anticipating. And what was so cool about that emotional outburst was that what I realized from Finian is that was the breakthrough, that emotional release, that buildup of expectations, and then just letting it go, because the letting go part is apparently a very important part of the process of having an OBE. And I've just been latching onto it and trying to make it work like I do everything else in my life and in my businesses and my YouTube channels, like just go 1,000 miles an hour and try to force it to work. And so he said, no, dude, that was you had a massive breakthrough. And he goes, he's like, I've done a lot of work on myself in the years prior. And so I haven't had a breakthrough like that in a long time. And he's like, I'm almost a little jealous that you got to experience that, because I remember those breakthroughs and having them, and you had one right in front of us. And I was like, oh, damn, I've been looking at this experience and this time here all wrong. And I tell people this all the time. Don't focus on the outcome, focus on the process. And I wasn't taking my own advice. And ultimately, that was a piece of the process that was so important, that probably shot me ahead massively by going there and going through this process, because it humbled me. It made me realize that my ambition was ludicrous. White belt trying to beat up a black belt in a week, and gave me the wherewithal to now come back, be humble, build a practice, put in the time, which I need to, just like everybody else who's having these experiences, and be ready for it to take years and let go of the expectations. Nevertheless, the program gave me the tools by which to pursue this objective, but let go of it has to happen at this time frame or that time frame. Let go of all of that. So that was probably the biggest takeaway of the entire experience. Okay, hold on. Let me read some comments now, and then we're going to get to the people next. And then I can get into some of the technical stuff if you guys are interested. How much does the live in-person gateway program cost? I think $2,600 or $2,500, but we had a discount because of the documentary, so we paid $2,000. All professional sports, dude. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sort of new, been watching for about a month. Hey, but a month, that's still pretty good. Been tied up with work lately, so been off and on. I found you through the holy algorithm. Let's go. I had a series of OBEs after. Whoa, really? Wait, do you still get OBEs, or is that kind of in the past now? Saludos desde Argentina. Are you from Argentina? If so, Buenos Aires. I've been there. I've been to Mendoza, and I've been to Iguazu Falls. Legendary. Such an amazing country. I had so much fun there. Yeah, it does. Yes, pretty much instantly. Rob Brown, I can't remember a dream, let alone astral project. Yo, I started writing down my dreams, and that helps a lot. There was somebody, Angie, on the trip was a dream interpreter, and that was so fun to tell her my dreams, and she would immediately be like, oh, that's what this is about. That's what that is about. Like, I had a dream that I was at a party and nobody wanted me there and everybody was being really mean to me and I was like crying. And she goes, oh yeah, that's about your birth. And that's basically you feeling like unwanted at birth or you know what I mean? Something. I was like, what? I did not even realize that's what that was about. One was about losing my watch. And she said that has to do with your heart. I had no idea. Just different things like that. Super cool. But yeah, journal your dreams if you to your best ability. And then I think the advice is that your memory will get better and better. I sent intention to see base reality and did a high dose LSD trip for a short time. I was in a pod. Shocked me so much. I threw, ooh, wow. I guess I just need to be patient and keep doing the gateway CDs. I get frustrated a lot. Yep. That's exactly what happened to me, but in a condensed period of time. Yeah, we just got to just make it a daily practice. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I actually meditated on the plane today. I meditated in the morning and then I meditated on the plane. But I'll still do a night meditation. Didn't the CIA mess with Gateway and change the tones? I don't believe so. I think it's still the original tones, but that might be lore surrounding the tape. But I can't say 100%. I've been having OBE since childhood, and I can fly. Very little practice. These are abilities the soul naturally has. Yes. I think you're right. Let me tell you something. My roommate Jesus had crazy lucid dreams all the time, and he can fly and he can control them, and he talks about it like it's wild. And he's had multiple OBEs as well. So you're probably like Jesus. That's super cool. Think about it in terms of you already knowing how to OBE. It's been you're right. That is the right way to think about it. I 100% agree. You will get it. You will remember. And I so believe what you're saying. And I think everybody can do it. 100%. I'm right with you. And even the instructor said that. This is a birthright. That's exactly what they said. That's what Luigi and Alan said. Where aren't you special, Maria? Well, but what she's saying is we all have that gift, and I think she's right. Thank you, Maria. What's up? We're happy to have you in the community. Since you have the knowledge now and the tools, I feel like your OBE is going to happen real soon. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, I'm okay with that. I'm just going to keep grinding and keep working. Welcome back. LOL at Robert. So have you been to Base Reality Earth in your OBE? Maria, oh no, I'm so late. You're all good. We're getting to the good stuff right now. We're about to talk about all the people. Robert Brown. And if any people are watching from the program, because I did share a link in our chat, say something. Say what's up. Say if you're here. Can't write it down if you can't remember as soon as my eyes open. Fair enough. I get what you're saying. I ever had experiences of hearing the voice that tells you things like get up and stuff, and I got walked around and flew outside, and that ended lucid dreams a bit. I don't know if it's an OBE. Thank you, KK Loco, for the donation, for the gifted 5 memberships. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, the memberships have grown. Thank you guys, all the members. We're going to do the member chat this week, by the way. Sorry, I've been gone. I've been trying to be off my devices. We're going to do that this week. And all the members will be invited to this next one. But then eventually, I think it might just have to be the higher tier, because as the memberships are continuing to grow, just that was what it was originally supposed to be. So, but this next one, we're going to invite everybody. I will come to you when you stop. It will come to you when you stop trying. So I believe you're right. At Krishna, my terminology may be a bit different, but I've seen something like base reality. It seriously messed with me for a long time. Okay. Now we're going to get to the most important part of the program, which I did not anticipate. The people. Okay. Sorry, these long streams. It's not even been that long, but it's my voice gets dry. I was like, man, I think my voice is recovered. It's feeling good, but again, it's tightening up as it always does when I do these long lives. So, all right. This was different than your traditional Gateway Voyage because it was a documentary and there was a selection process. So I don't know if you guys know this or if I've talked or if you've heard this, but here's what it was. Let me see if I can. Let's load it up here so you can see exactly here. Doop doop boop 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 boop. All right. Check this out. Okay. All right. So here it is. Instructions for leaving without going anywhere. Documentary. Oh, I didn't actually see this because this wasn't up here before. So these are all the people. Where am I? Right there. Boom. Huzaifa. And actually, this is perfect because I can go through and talk about everybody. So this is the director. This is the executive producer. But he actually was a participant. Chris and Gary, all these guys. So awesome. Now, so they put this out there and they said, hey, we're doing this documentary. They put it out in like December through the Monroe emailing list. And they were going to choose 24 people. They got 600 applications. Mine was one of them. And so they're going through the applications and we find, and they got way more than they expected. And then we get hit up for an interview. I think we were supposed to find out about an interview. Everything got delayed because they had so many responses. I think I got hit up in April or something. So I found out I was getting interviewed. I freaked out because you guys know I wanted this so badly. I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. I got an interview. So I interviewed with them. The Google Meet link that I clicked on didn't work. So I was there early. I was like ready to go. And then it wasn't, I was like, I thought they were late. And then they sent me an email. Hey, are you still able to join? I'm like, oh shoot. I thought I'm in the right link. Anyways, we still made it work. The interview was fine, but you don't know. And then it took another month or something for them to get back to us. I don't know how many people they interviewed. I'm not sure. I think they said maybe 50 or I can't remember. So then they did the interviews and then they chose us. So I didn't find out until end of April, beginning of May or something that I was chosen. I freaked out when I found out. My point in telling you all of this is the group dynamic was selected very carefully. So I don't know what it's like to be on these other programs, but I presume, obviously they want to have a multitude of experiences, but I also believe that they picked us in a way that they thought we would gel, is my guess, because we gelled so in such a crazy way. And as amazing as my breakthrough was, as incredible as all the information I gathered was, that still I'm going to have to go through this entire notebook and kind of go through everything and process everything. As amazing as all of that was, it ultimately became the people that were the most impactful piece of this whole thing. And it's funny because I had this is the big epiphany that I had after my Croatia trip. you think Croatia, it's such a cool place, beautiful water, going to fun spots, good food, also, but ultimately, it was all about the people. That's what made that trip. We had a great group of people that was curated by two people that organized it, and they invited specific people, and we all gelled and bonded and had a blast. That's what made that trip. That's what made this experience. It's the people. And I want to start with that because as we do talk about this whole idea of the soul trap and some of these concepts that are a bit darker, but it's reality. It's reality. We got to face it. And sometimes people get a little down about what is this planet? What is this world? What is this simulation that we're living in? But I want to remind people that ultimately it's not all smoke and mirrors. It's not all fake, because the real in this simulation is us, is the people. And when we connect with each other, I think that is one of the most important things that we can do in this lifetime, amongst many other things, but connecting with each other, because we are the most important part, the life force, the essence, the souls, whatever you want to call it, of this existence. And that ultimately was the most important part of this experience as well, which I did not anticipate. Like I said, coming in with the expectation of an OBE, came out with a big family and a big group of like-minded people and friends, where I shared something super special with everybody. And yeah, that's what made this whole thing. Okay, let's go through the people here, because I want to talk about everybody individually. So we have April here. April had a really big breakthrough one of the days. I remember this day because I remember I was sitting in the front and I looked back, and it was before she'd even been called on to talk or anything like that. But she just had this look like she just saw something insane. And I was like, oh, something. She just had some wild experience, but maybe it even scared her a little bit. I can't remember the specifics of the breakthrough, but I remember that day so vividly because she just had this look on her face like, holy smoke, something crazy happened. She has a son who is, if I remember correctly, 28, former like super hardcore football player, but then eventually started his own real estate company. Sounds very successful. She actually drove home on Sunday night. We all walked her to her car. But anyway, super, super sweet. She was actually very good friends with this person right here, Krista. They bonded and were hanging out a lot, but just super sweet, really positive, amazing energy. She's incredible. Daniel, man, this guy is one of the funniest dudes. And like his sense of humor it's just, I can't, really dry, like just, I don't know. He just catches you really off guard with zingers. Very intelligent guy. Very, oh my God. Like he's actually going to be an instructor at Monroe. And we worked out every morning together. He was in there's 24 people, but only 5 or 6 people would come to yoga, and he was there every day. And so he was kind of my workout buddy. Emily's super cool. She makes documentaries. We actually went on a long walk one day together. I got to know her really well. She's awesome. Jonathan, this is one of the main guys behind the whole project. Just a heart of gold, you can say. And I hung out with him a bunch. Incredible guy, just incredible energy. And that's kind of what I would say about everybody. We had just such a good collection of energy. Dude, Cherie, so this is crazy. I wish I would have talked to her about this earlier. Cherie, and somebody else on the program said Cherie has the most ability in the entire group in terms of what she's able to do, what she's able to connect with, and things like that. Psychic abilities. But I found out on the second to last day that we were there, third to last day, that, so I guess not that far, but like still, I didn't know this. She's a massive UFC fan. She watches every UFC card every Saturday, like insane. And so she was one of the people that watched the card with me. Very cool, very sweet. Holly, she was one of the first people I met, and she does QHHT, quantum healing, which you guys have been telling me to do. So that was kind of cool. I did ask her if she could do it over Zoom because she lives in New York, if I remember correctly, but she cannot. Finian, this is the guy that I was saying that gave me that great advice about me having the breakthrough. He also written a book called Intentionality, gave me a copy as a going away gift because we kind of had that moment where, He was talking me through all this stuff. This is Angie. This is one of the people that I got super close with. Incredible, positive, happy, beautiful energy, and just like a super kind person. She's the dream interpreter and yeah, like a healer. Jesus is my roommate, legend, as I've talked about him already, just super sweet, but also these amazing abilities to have lucid dreams on the regular, OBEs, all that stuff. Steve, this guy's so funny. This is one of the funniest dudes on the whole, maybe the funniest guy on in our whole group. Yeah, he was. And also just like a super cool, really nice guy. Talked to him a bunch. Stephanie, fellow educator. She teaches English and she's from Wisconsin. Really cool. Vincent, he's a therapist, and he was like a 3-hour drive. I can't remember exactly where he's from, but he's a 3-hour drive. And he was actually sitting next to me when I had my breakthrough. And he put his hand out to hold my hand and stuff like that. He's like, give yourself permission to cry, stuff. He was very supportive, super nice. We connected in that moment. John lives in Solvang, if you guys remember from the movie Sideways. So I'm actually going to go try and drive up at some point this summer and visit him with Cosmo. Daniel, it says, but we called him Dan. He's from Michigan. This guy was super cool. He actually gave me amazing advice too. Very, very knowledgeable about OBEs and meditation practice. And he's a boxer. He's state champ, I believe, for in the 170-pound division. This is Krista. So she was super cool. We actually hung out. We hung out a lot more in like the second half of the week, I guess you could say. Like she watched the UFC card with us, which was so fun. She's hilarious. Like really positive vibes, but like just has you constantly cracking up. Super, super funny. They don't have her name here, but this is Avery. Actually, I think also she goes by Avery, if I remember that correctly, but I think also her name is Angela. Anyways, Avery from Boston, and she's the one that had that experience about the bagel. Like she smelled the bagel and then she called her daughter or texted her daughter. Her daughter's like, what the heck is going on, Mom? Are you spying on me? What's happening? But yeah, that's what happened. And she's super cool. She's one of the first people that I met. Actually, she was on her van ride into the center. She was very shocked to find out that I was because she first met me, she's like, I'm way older than you or something like that. I'm like, you how old do you think I am? I'm 46. And she was quite surprised. So that was funny. Donna, very, very outgoing. I skipped David. David is from Australia. This guy is so interesting. So I met him early too. He was in our dinner group, and he actually bought all his travel and tickets and just assumed he was coming. But right when he applied, he didn't even have an interview, nothing, and he got chosen. Like it was such a crazy thing. Anyways, he had a really intense experience, a really big breakthrough. Donna, very, very outgoing. Super fun, super bubbly, super positive energy. We talked a fair amount. There's me, Moshe. Oh my God, what a nice guy from Israel, educator. I think he started his own school there. Super cool. And we actually talked a lot the last night in particular. Oscar, this guy is like a spiritual legend. Like just had so many experiences. He gave me some really great words of advice after my breakthrough, but also again, heart of gold, super sweet guy, super nice guy, very high energy. Thea, this is my friend who we were both having frustration, and she was the one that came up to me and stopped me and was like, I'm going through it too. You're not alone. And I totally feel the same way. And that made me feel so not alone. And this is actually Shake. They say David here, but his name, we called him Shake. This is like the master. This is like our Yoda in our group, because he's actually been to Gateway. He's been to like 8 programs at Monroe. He has so much experience, so much wisdom. Plus, dude, this guy has the wildest stories. He's an author. He wrote like all these books and was super successful with writing. He was a prison warden at one time, told us some of the craziest stories. I'm not going to repeat them, just amazing, interesting, super interesting life. He looks really young. He's actually 62, but like he's jacked, and like he actually also trained martial arts for 40 years. There's one guy that's not pictured here as well, Mario, but I don't know why Mario's picture isn't up here, but Mario, what's cool about him is he's a martial artist, and he's fought in MMA. So we sparred a couple times with no gear on, which I've never done before. Very light sparring, but yeah, that was a cool memory with him. Anyways, The collection of people was incredible. I imagine they curated it as such to the best of their abilities, and yeah, they made it magical, and it was magical. And that was the most impactful part of the entire program. Just feeling the support, the love, the ideas, the information that I got from everybody, the bonding, the friendships. I mean, it's just the whole summer has been wild. I don't remember the last time I had a summer like this where I made so many new, not just friends, but like close, like deep relationships. Dude, you cannot. I was saying this to somebody. I could meet all these people individually, like for example, at the park where I take my dog, and we could see each other on a semi-regular basis for years. I would not know them as well as I know these people in a week because of all the stuff we went through, all the crying, all the opening. Like, it's insane what happened. And so again, the people are what really made this whole program what it was. So there it is. Let me get through some comments. Hey, there he is. Welcome back, man. Thank you. Yes, I'm back. I practice meditation regularly and throughout my life. I've had just a few OBEs, and in one of those, I saw a humanoid outside the door of the apartment where I was staying. Oh, wow. That's cool. Pinky, ever consider that an OBE is only possible if you believe or fall for the Matrix? No, I don't think. I mean, could be possible, but I don't think that's the case because I mean, we have guys that are achieving. We have people that have been achieving these OBEs that definitely, I don't think, are falling for the Matrix. I don't think that's the case. Susanna, I like that. Will you go back? I will go back. I would say most likely, but not anytime soon because I've got a lot of work to do. So again, it's like a power booster for sure, and you'll get a ton of value out of it. But for me, now that everything I've learned, I know I've got a ton of work to do. So if I do choose to go back, it will be after I put in the work and put in the training. Incredibly unique experience. Oh, for sure. And the beauty is you guys are going to get to see what I'm talking about. Like, I'm probably not doing it justice. I'm doing my best, but you're going to get to see because it was all filmed. Everything was filmed. It was crazy. And obviously they're going to condense that all down to whatever it might be, 2 hours or, but any details on the documentary? Yeah. So I can give you some details. And again, it's probably subject to change, but actually, you know what? I don't know if I should. Okay, I'll just say this because I don't want to give away too much just in case. I don't. I'm assuming if they told us it's open information, but the bottom line is they want to release this soon. So it's not going to be an editing process of years or anything like that. Like, it should be available. I think they're hoping to make it available within a year and less than a year. So, and they don't know where it's going to be yet. So those details will be coming, and I'll obviously keep you guys posted on all the details because they're going to have to make it. Then they're going to have to shop it and look at different options and things like that. I think so. Yeah. Because that's what the center capacity is for participants, for the check units and the beds and stuff. Maybe some of them talk much like story pushers, but didn't experience this. No way. Yeah, I did think about that before. Okay. The reason why I thought about that at the beginning is because this is before we went there and I got to meet everybody, is because they asked me in the interview, how would you feel if you didn't have one? Like, would you be okay with it? I'm like, well, look, if I can't control it, if I don't have one, what am I going to do? But I was like, I won't be deterred. I'm going to still keep trying, which that is true. Now, what is not true is I thought I was going to be totally fine if I didn't get one, but I was devastated, but so I think, anyways, when they asked me that question, I'm like, oh, are they trying to weed out people that they think might fabricate something or whatever? It's just not possible, dude, because it's like, first of all, the confirmations that we got in terms of experiences that were interacting with other people. Like, it was, dude, it was crazy. And I do think my discernment is pretty darn good. And we were, you know what I mean? It's not like, dude, it's just, I can like, it was not that. So yeah, I would say, obviously you can't ever say 100% anything. I would say 99.99999, as many as you can count, percent sure that everybody was there in sincere motives, positive motives, openness, just to see whatever may come will come. And yeah, so I totally get what you're saying. That it's true. You can be, it's only natural to be a little bit like, hey, wait a minute, could that be happening? But yeah, no way. LOL, dog freaks win. Yeah. We were just there right before this. He loves it so much. Did you have an OBE? How long did it take? Did you feel the I did feel the vibration for sure, multiple times, the body numbness, but no, I did not achieve an OBE. But I'm going to keep practicing. I'll get there eventually. Filming in Portland, by two. What is filming in Portland? Is that somebody from the program by chance? Or is anybody? Let me know if you're here and you're from the program and you're here live. Like, I have a weird feeling that filming in Portland is Emily. Is that Emily? I don't know, but I haven't. You don't look familiar. Your name, so I'm wondering, you're new to the channel. You do have great discernment. Thank you, man. Hell yeah, yeah. I mean, I do think that. I've thought that before. Hold on, I'm just getting more water. My voice is dying. 1 second, guys. Hi, Cosmo. Hold on. Hi, little lamb chop. Come here. Wah, bah, bah, bah. You guys are going to get to see Cosmo too, because, well, he deserves to be on camera. I've been away from him for quite some time. But look at this little legend. Look how cute he looks. He's doing so good. He did amazing. I was worried he was going to be mad at me when I picked him up, but he was just happy as a clam. He's tired because I did take him to the PARK. And look at this little guy. Look at this. It's insane. It's insane. You can't get cuter than this. He's so incredible. Anyways, but thank you, Krishna, for that. I really appreciate that. Wow, he's actually happy sitting in my arms. Normally he gets all squirmy and he wants to jump down, but he's actually being so chill right now. This is amazing. Kind of want to let him go. Okay, filming in Portland. No, I'm not from the program. LOL. I don't know. I just like, maybe. Nameless Brown. Sorry, I can't click on the comments because I'm holding my dog. But when he wants to go down, I'll click on him. I almost had one last night. No way. But I heard a female voice and it forced me back in my body. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I've been watching while we've interacted before. Okay, cool. Did you talk with Joe McMoneagle about? Yes. Okay. Let me tell you guys what I asked Joe one question, because everybody had questions, and like, it wouldn't have been fair, I think, to ask multiple questions. But hold on. Sorry, my throat is struggling again. No, I'm not from the program. I almost had one last night. Sorry. Okay. Let me tell you what he said, because it's actually important. I said, Joe, I have a question. There are independent teams of remote viewers that have tried to see what happens when we go to the next level, when we pass on, and where we go after we pass on. And I said, do you think there's legitimacy to these teams and to their findings? And he said very quickly, and I'm going to tell you what, like, I'll tell you my thoughts on his answer in a second, but he very quickly said, no legitimacy. And that also ties into, he also said, everything you see, if you guys think you know about remote viewing, because everything you've seen on the internet is wrong. So he had these very absolute statements. He also said he doesn't like to remote view anything that can't be verified. So for example, he doesn't want to remote, like, he wants to remote view targets, let's say for missing people, that you can then go out and find the people and be like, okay, yes, it worked. He doesn't want to remote view things that you can't then, like, for example, he wants to remote view if there's life on a planet 17 light years away or something like that. He doesn't want to do that because he'll do it and he'll be like, yes, but then you can't verify it. And so he said he's not interested in that. So a couple things I want to say. Number one, it's an absolute statement to say that there's no legitimacy whatsoever to these guys, because you have to do a deep dive. You have to see their techniques. You have to see their training. Like Intuitive Underground was also trained by military, by a former Army person that was, working on the RV stuff. So to say no legitimacy, I don't think that's fair. And then also, if you're saying you only want to review, and like, more power to Joe McMoneagle, like, do it your way, and I think that's great. But if you're only going to RV things that you can verify, I mean, think how limiting that is to what we're trying to do on this channel, and what a lot of people are trying to do is answer these big questions that are otherwise unanswerable. Those inherently are going to be things that you're remote viewing that you cannot verify, because remote viewing will be the only means or mechanism by which to extract this information. And so if you go by that protocol of I'm only going to remote view things that I can verify, you're going to be stuck. You're not going to be able to try to access this type of information. So I didn't really take it to heart. I appreciate his answer. I'm glad I asked it, but I didn't really take it to heart. And I think, like, you listen to it, I think he also made, I think he said something about Farsight and saying that they've gotten everything wrong or something like that. I mean, I don't know to what extent he's looked into Farsight. And so I didn't really put too much stock into those statements. I feel like he's very much in his lane and he's amazing at what he does. He's got the power. He's able to do it, and he's proven it over and over and over on television shows and different things like that. But that doesn't mean other people with different methodologies or different ways can't do it their own way and can't access this type of information, Thank you. He is a legend. I know. Cosmo's the best. All right. Oh, I'm so tired. Guys, I flew in today. Okay, listen. Let me tell you why I'm so tired. Got up at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's 2 a.m. here, 5:15, something like that. Went to the bathroom, came back. Instead of going back to bed, I meditated. Then I got up after that. Then I went to the gym, worked out, ate breakfast, packed, drove to the airport, flew from Charlottesville. Oh, you don't even know what happened. I flew from Charlottesville to Atlanta. Then I had 10 minutes to get to my connection, and I had to run like full sprints. And I was like, heck, I was so happy my cardio held up, because I was like full sprinting. And I had to go down. Then I had to go down to this run downstairs. All this in 10 minutes. Run down to this train. Then I'm waiting for the train. I'm like, where's this train? Train finally pulls up. Get in there. Goes to the right concourse. I was in C. It had to go to D or something. And then, or B, and had to go to C, whatever it was. And then I get there. Then the doors open. I run out. Then I'm the massive escalator. I'm running, dodging people. Then I get out. And then I have to get to gate 47. And I'm at 1. I think I was at 1 or something. So I'm like sprinting down. And the gates were supposed to close, and the door was supposed to close at 2:25. I get there at 2:24. So then I get out there. Then I had a second flight to LA, landed, came home, drove, picked up my little dog, Cosmo, legend. Then I went to the DOG PARK, and then I came home, and now I'm doing this. So that's why I'm so tired. Nonstop. You don't believe Intuitive Underground? Why not? Tell me why. What's wrong with Intuitive Underground? Yeah, I mean, I think they're totally legit. And they even say themselves they might not get everything right. So, I mean, you in a blanket statement, you just don't believe them, period, or there's certain things that they've gathered that you disagree with? I more or less believe Intuitive Underground, but I think they're viewing. Yeah, well, they are viewing, but that's how remote viewing works. And Joe McMoneagle actually said that. You're relaying information in terms of your experiences. So that's why it's always through the lens of the viewer, So who is correct or what is correct? In what sense? In what sense? I mean, they're both correct. You mean between Joe McMoneagle and Intuitive Underground, or what do you mean exactly? How does he know that it is not accurate information if he doesn't do it, especially when multiple people in the team? Yeah, no, exactly. But again, Joe McMoneagle's old school. He does it his particular way, and it's just, that's why I'm saying it's like, I'm not too interested in how Intuitive Underground necessarily views Joe McMoneagle and vice versa. If that makes sense. I mean, I asked the question because I just wanted to see if he had looked at it or if he gave it any credibility. He didn't, but it doesn't destroy my it doesn't like take away my thoughts about Intuitive Underground or something like that, if that makes sense. Yes, he was. Wait, so who is correct? Oh, between Joe and Intuitive. Yeah, so I think they're both correct if that makes sense in different ways. But yeah, but like look, blanket statements are dangerous. I don't think it's fair or correct for Joe to say, like they're all wrong or there's zero legitimacy. Like, and especially without deep diving or talking to the guys, like that doesn't fly with me. But I get where Joe's coming from. He's like the godfather of this entire practice. You know what I'm saying? So he probably feels a certain way about other people encroaching the territory or maybe doing it in different ways and ways that maybe he doesn't approve of, stuff like that. I've seen some of the things Intuitive Underground have seen. Oh, really? Yeah, for sure. The interpretation. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Maria, have you ever do you make content about your experiences or anything? And like, can you tell me more about your experiences, your practices, and yeah, just give me some more details. I'm gonna have to shut this down soon, guys. I thought I was gonna go longer, but I kind of feel like I got pretty much the whole story out, but my voice is once again shutting down. It's funny, Joe McMoneagle says some RV data is not true since Joe McMoneagle himself has seen the white light. Wait, what? I didn't know that. I did not know that. I wish I would have known that. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, but you know what? I don't know where he said that or where you heard that, but I would bet, since he did make it a point to say he doesn't like RVing stuff that he can't verify, that maybe he even wouldn't want to talk about it because it's not something that can be verified. That's just a guess. Oh boy, I am shutting down. I'm gonna go ahead and put up my Instagram real quick as we wind down here. In case anybody wants to reach out to me on Instagram, send me content, send me information, send me ideas, connect with me. You can do it at Pink Tourmaline Huzefa. Yeah, man, you're very welcome. And thank you guys for the support. Thank you for the showing. Oh, guys, if you're here and you're still here and you can click that like button, hype the video, all of that stuff helps. It helps the channel grow. That engagement is really important. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. Go get some rest and thank you, man. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to take you up on that offer. Once again, connect with me, Pink Tourmaline, Huzefa. I would love to hear from you guys. Monroe, let's go. By the way, fun fact, this is extra small. They didn't have any smalls, and I just went with it. I'm like, well, I was running out the door, so I bought it. It's so small. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like even if I wash it once, could never wear it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this sweater, but hopefully I'll get a small at some point. But pretty cool. Click that like button. Thank you, Beth. What's up? What's up? Great live. Thank you. Thank you. Get some sleep, kiddo. Yes. Susanna. I'm going to do that. Michael Stafford says, awesome live stream. Thank you. Have a great night. All right, guys. Well, I think that's my cue. Thank you guys so much for joining. I got some much needed rest that I have to attend to. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.